Yeah, yeah. Hello, hello.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Um, we'll give it. Okay, we're 2 minutes early right now, so we'll give it like 5 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Um, okay. Okay. We'll give it like 5 minutes that people can join. Okay. Well, well, okay, it's 5:05. I think we have, I don't know, we'll give it like, I mean, we can start now. We can start. Go. Hello. Brooklyn. Brooklyn. Oh, yeah. Well, hello.
Hello.
Brooklyn. Okay.
I
Cool.
can hear me.
You're like really quiet.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you're kind of quiet though. You can like make your volume there.
So what is Python? Is
Okay.
that better?
Cool.
Okay, Python.
Your volume could be a bit higher.
Bro, okay, wait. Uh,
You just yell into the mic.
Python.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
So
you're good. You're good for me. I can hear you.
That's good.
okay,
That's good.
Python is a dynamically typed object-oriented programming language emphasizing readability and simplicity. So Python has the advantage in that it's very readable. It almost reads as though it was pseudocode. This is something many languages like Java, C++, C Sharp don't have because they're quite verbose and have random things like you have to write in public static main, public static void main, and all that nonsense. When in Python you could just write print hello world and it will just execute with no effort. So that's
Yeah,
the
and
main advantage.
dynamically typed has to do with variables. Basically, you don't have to specify the data type of the variable that you are declaring, which we'll talk about in a bit in like later slide.
Yeah, it's fundamentally different in that aspect from many other languages. And obviously it's one of the most popular programming languages. It's eclipsing Java and Java, but not JavaScript, but it's definitely eclipsing many of the formerly good languages which many people used. So it's also very important for particularly for artificial intelligence. um, I think that's the main use for it right now, in that and why many people are gravitating towards it, which is artificial intelligence.
Yeah,
So,
and
although,
oh yeah,
It's
sorry.
so popular.
Yeah.
It's so popular because it can be used in like so many different scenarios and applications. Just because Python is really flexible, it's really understandable to a large variety of different developers.
Yeah, and
yeah,
like a big part of yeah, like what has been mentioned is that like its use in data science, which is like uses a lot of different tools, but like one of them is NumPy, which we'll learn about later, I believe on the second to last day. So yeah, stick around to learn about that.
yeah, MATLib, all these things, very good. Hello world. So this is the most basic thing one can do in a programming language, which is writing print hello world. So in Python, it's very easy to do that. As you can see, it's just print hello world. So you don't even need a semicolon as you might need in many other languages such as Java and whatever. So it's very simple, print hello world. Ashwin, are you saying something?
No, I mean I
Oh,
could read the slide. So
uh,
comments are like notes to yourself to maybe clarify code or explain the need for a line of code. So we can make comments in Python which don't affect the output of the program, like this using a hashtag and then what you want to say. Or you can make a multi-line comment by using three double quotes and then close it off with another three double quotes at the end. And these are really useful to make sure other developers are on the same page as you. And you should use them sparingly, but whenever needed.
Yeah. And in Java in particular, you could the comments would be slash slash. So if that rings a bell, maybe it does. So background info, this is the most basic um fundamentals of computer science, which is that computers store data as ones and zeros, so this is binary. One represents an on value, zero represents an off value. Each one or zero is a bit, so 1, 1, 1, 0, so that's like 4 bits. Ones and zeros can represent colors, sounds, anything, even the pixels on your screen. Everything is bits fundamentally. So 8 bits is 1 byte, which is not a particularly useful definition for this course. Primitive data types. So we have four primitive types in Python. Um, Primitive types are built into the language and are stored directly in memory, making them faster to access. So yeah, and then since Python is dynamically typed, you do not have to specify types for variables, functions, etc. So this is the main advantage of Python, and that it's not statically typed, like Java or something else, where you have to say int x equals 34. You can just say x equals 34. So that is the fundamental advantage of Python. The primitive types exist in every other language, though. It should be familiar if you took any other courses. And then use type is the way you might be able to determine a type. So type 3, for example, would say it was an int. So yeah. Um, oh yeah, so they have the print type 5, so it's gonna output class int. So like in math, there are this is the integer slide. So like in math, there are whole numbers, positive and negative, no decimals. So for decimals, we're gonna use floats, which is I think the next slide, and then can convert another type to an int using the int function. So if you have like um 7.3 or something, then you can just convert that to an integer by using this function, which is called typecasting. So we're gonna cast it. And then we have floats, so they're basically numbers of unlimited length, but you have decimals. So you can say 7.434, 8.12, or whatever. So that's a float. But you basically remember it as though it has decimals. And then you can use the float function to convert the value into a floating point number. So similar to the int function, the float function works a similar way. Um, Boolean. So we have true or false values. The literal value or a fixed value that is directly written into the code of a Boolean is true or false. So a Boolean, this data type can have only two values. It's either true or false, and then you don't need any quotes because the true or false keyword is built in to Python.
Booleans are like
So
really useful for logic in Python. So later on we'll learn more about this, but if you want to write a program that uses a lot of logic and like checks a lot of stuff, we have to use Booleans to evaluate such things.
okay. Uh, so we go on to strings. So strings are basically text. So if you want to say, hello, my name is blah, 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 you can use a string, can represent words, phrases, or individual characters. There is no Python support for the char data type. So in particular, if you already have experience with other languages, you might have noticed a char data type, which uses ASCII codes and stuff. We do not have that in Python, so you might just want to use a string for that. So we are moving on to taking an input. So basically, this is like the scanner class in Java, if you know what that is. So we're gonna take in a command line input from the user and do something with it. In this case, we'll just display that input for the user to see. So it basically you're gonna have a console, and I'll demonstrate what this is. It's particularly you might not understand it now. It's basically we're gonna get in an input from the console. They're gonna enter in something, say like they're gonna enter 5, and then you're just gonna print that. So it's just gonna print 5. Oh, we're gonna practice type conversions. So let's say we want to add two numerical inputs together. That's what we want to do below, but the output doesn't look right. So here we have user input one, input this, user input two, input and enter another thing, and then we're gonna print uh both of those. Oh, it doesn't
Yeah,
make
so the reason that happens is because when you enter in four, Python thinks that the four is a string, and thus like it literally combines them instead of doing
Oh,
the
okay, like that.
operation.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically,
So
like
yeah,
what,
it's
yeah,
basically
like what you're doing is something we'll learn about later, in the next slideshow. But it's called string concatenation, where you're just like combining two strings together. So we're
yeah,
not,
yeah.
yeah,
I thought this was
Yeah.
string. Yeah, I thought this was string concatenation. Anyway, so they're basically saying that it's 4 plus 4. It's not saying 8, but instead it's saying 44 because the input method fundamentally returns a string. So yeah. So the type of the input is automatically a string, so you have to convert them to a numerical type like an int or float to perform numerical tasks such as addition. So obviously, if you're going to say enter in a number and then you have to say enter in another thing, so you're going to have to convert them to int to perform operations on them because otherwise it would just become like it would just be like the previous slide. It's going to say 44 when you try to add them. So instead, you might want to do int conversions of the string, and then you want to do user input 1 plus user input 2. So you have 4 plus 5 equals 9. So this is the how you properly do it. Okay, float to int conversion. So either chop off the decimal or round down. This is pretty common in computer science where if you're trying to go from a float to an integer, we're gonna chop off the decimal. We're not gonna round up and down, we're just gonna round down only. So we're gonna do 7.0 and it's gonna be 7. But if you wanna do 10.99, you might think that, all right, let's just go up a bit since we're closer to 11. But in reality, it's not like that due to the nature of floating points. We are going to come down to 10. So just keep that in mind whenever you're gonna truncate the decimal whenever you're trying to convert to an integer. Okay. Variables. So you may have noticed that we set the input from previous slides to a variable. So we just said, um, so yeah, this user input one input. So this is a variable. Um, Variables function just like they do in any other language. They store a value. And in Python, as we have discussed like 2 times before, we do not have to indicate the type of the variable. That is what makes Python so different in that it is not statically typed. You can just put whatever you want without wasting time declaring that it's a string or an integer or whatever. Um, Illegal identifiers. So identifiers are names of variables. So here we have user input one. That's the identifier of the variable. Um, Keywords cannot be used as identifiers in Python because they're reserved words. So you can't say bool x. You can't say bool equals something like that. That's just illegal because bool is a reserved word. So the name of identifiers in Python cannot begin with a number. The first character of identifiers in Python should always start with an alphabet or underscore. The underscore is also pretty useful in certain cases. We might discuss that later, but I don't know. And then it can also be followed by it can also be followed by anything else. So special characters are not allowed, such as percent, hashtag, at, or dollar. Um, so yeah, just keep that in mind. Just name your variables properly. It will show an error. It will probably underline in red if it's illegal. So you probably don't have to worry too much about that. Um, Variable naming conventions in Python. I don't think Python ever uses Pascal case. So we're going to stick to camel case, which means we're gonna put the first word in lowercase. We're not gonna capitalize the first letter in the first word, and we're gonna capitalize the first letter of the succeeding word. So basically, like this my variable name, and then descriptive of what the variable stores and does. So you can't say x equals 2000 because that doesn't really say what 2000 means. It's not. giving me any information about that. And then good, good is birth year, so we actually know that 2000 is when, I don't know, someone was born or something. Um, yeah, about using abbreviations and acronyms, like a particularly good acronym to use or abbreviation is ASCII, since that's known. You don't have to write it all out or something, but if it's not, then you might want to write it out. And then also keep the variable names short. Don't have them, don't be like the United Nations and the entire branch of it. Just
Yeah,
keep it
yeah, and also
concise.
like to add on to that,
Um,
like uh, in contrast to other languages, Python doesn't have native support for constants, which are like variables that can't be changed you after you declare them. But yeah, so like something like a constant would be something like pi or like the speed of light, something like that that shouldn't change. But still, if you want to indicate a value that like is constant and shouldn't change, you should use screaming state case, which is just all caps essentially,
oh
and
yeah,
uses underscores to separate words in a variable. So yeah,
yeah. That's a good convention to follow. We have homework, but
yeah,
we'll get to that later, I
yeah.
guess.
And do you
Because
want
we
to
have
like
I'll
another
post the
do you want to
section.
like
homework into
demonstrate? Do you want to
the
demonstrate some of the stuff we learned, Rithwik?
Oh yeah, we should wait. Let me change my screen.
I'll post the homework into announcements, and there's no like set due date. Just do it whenever you can and post it into hashtag homework
I
submissions
think
channel.
just DM me. That's easier.
Yeah, either
Yeah,
DM
you
Rithwik
can be
or
either one.
Ashwin.
You can DM any of us
Mhm.
or submit it to the channel.
Yeah.
So we'll show you
Okay.
some of the stuff that we covered in VS Code itself, just to show you
So
how you would actually
okay.
write it.
The first thing we did was we just printed hello world. And then we can shift enter. So it says hello world. So pretty good. So as I said, it's pretty basic in for printing, unlike other languages where there's some sort of elaborate schemes. Yeah, and then we also covered comments. So let's go hashtag hello. And if you execute this, nothing is gonna happen because it's just a comment. And then uh okay, forgetting what we actually did here. So we looked at the primitive
User
types.
input.
So
Yeah,
let's look at the primitive types. So we can just say my int equals for, my string equals hello, my bool equals false because I'm negative for some reason. And then what's the other? My float equals 4 point, let's do 7, let's do 5.4. And then let's print one of them. Let's print my bool. And then let's shift enter. So that's false.
yeah, and yeah. Try
Um,
adding two variables and see how that turns out.
oh yeah, actually first let's convert the float. Um, max. Uh, so 5. So that's the truncation of the decimal when you convert to an integer. Okay, what were we
Even
doing
if
next?
my float was 5.99, it'd still be 5.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's just how like typecasting works. It just like rounds down to the nearest whole number. So yeah, and like maybe like try adding my string and my float to see how that works out. And you
Okay,
see
so it
that you
says
can,
type error can only concatenate string.
Yeah, so you want to convert both of these actually to, I mean, my float to string. We can do that with the str.
the str.
I think it's just str. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just str.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
just str.
yeah, then it'll just add it on to the end. Yeah, like hello 5.4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also I was gonna point out that when you do bool to a string, like this is the thing where you did this.
Yeah.
This isn't particularly correct it's not gonna like when you do this, it's just gonna say true if there's anything in the string. It's gonna say false if there's nothing in the string. So that's what I wanted to say about bool. So be very careful when using this.
Yeah.
And we can
So if
practice
you
taking
say,
an input. Do you wanna? Or yeah, you can
oh
you
yeah,
can
we
you
want
can
to
do that demonstration first, and then okay.
do what?
Oh yeah, we can just practice taking an input.
Input one equals input. Give me a number. So if you do that, let's just
And this is really useful for if you want your user to actually interact with the program you're creating. And now
oh yeah, I gave it a
Python will
number. Actually,
store 34
let's do
and give you
something with the
1.
number. And let's print my int. So I'm gonna give it a different number and let's see what happens. So let's say 83. So yeah, now because we printed my int, it got changed from 4 to 83.
Yep.
And also if you want to be, we can also do this and it's gonna be nicer.
Yeah, that's we'll
So let's
learn it
just
about
add
it in the
some.
next slideshow, but it uses the backslash basically and the n that's called a new line escape sequence. So
Yeah,
it just automatically
yeah,
increments
we'll
to the
learn
next
more
line.
about that next class.
Yeah,
Or next
And we
slideshow. I
can
don't
we
know.
can get into the next slideshow now.
yeah.
Okay. I think we covered everything. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
strings and math modules. Let's see. Slideshow. Uh okay, strings and math module. So yeah, strings, they can be surrounded
Your
by
screen is
a
still
single or
on.
double
Your
quotation.
screen is still on. Maybe it's me. Yeah, it's still
Wait,
on VS Code. Yeah.
right, strings.
That's good.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
strings.
in this lesson we'll talk more about strings and some cool stuff that we can do with them.
Okay. So strings can be surrounded by either single or double quotation marks. This is different because from other languages because we don't have chars. So we can use single quote marks as well. I think in JavaScript you could also use single quote marks or whatever. So can use quotes inside of a string as long as they don't match the quotes surrounding the string. Um, yeah, and assign a multi-line string to a variable using three quotes. So here we have my name is Alex. Oh, and he used the okay, and then he's using the triple string notation to convey that. So my name is Alex because he wants to write as though he was writing like in a Google Doc. So yeah, string concatenation, just combining two strings. So string one plus string two, we're gonna get Code Catalyst Academy. Notice that he has a space here to indicate that we're gonna have a space here because it's not gonna automatically give you a space. So it's good to keep that in mind that it's not there's nothing automatic about that. And then now indexes. Actually, for indexes, let's go here. So indexes are basically the storage identification marks in like either a string or an array. So here we have zero. Zero is the first index where the first object is located. So three is in index zero, eight is in index one. So this is an index one. This is index zero. This is index one. So it starts from zero is what you have to keep in mind about that. Um, so if you want to access specific characters, just know the strings are arrays. Like arrays, strings are zero indexed, which means that the first character is the zeroth index. The second character is the first index. So yeah, that's the thing you have to keep in mind about these kinds of programming languages. Most programming languages use zero index rules. So yeah, so string zero prints out hello. But if you try to do string six does not exist because it's out of range. So that's the error here. So yeah, zero indexing. Uh,
This is a
Slicing.
pretty useful feature in Python. It's where you can use the square brackets to refer to a single, like a section of the string rather than the whole thing. So we can do that by using the colon, and the first number would specify where to start, and then the last number would specify where to end.
Okay.
And
So
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
So we went from 0, 1, and then this is 2. So adds y. So it went up to the eighth. So it went up to O, but it's not going to include O. So we're just going to stop at y because it does not include the end index. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's adds yo,
Yeah,
adds y.
and also remember
Um,
the spaces are included as are considered characters. So yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, Slicing continued. So to start at the first character, just include the end index. So if we're just gonna go from 0 to 7, you don't have to waste time putting a 0 there. Just go on and leave it blank and put colon 7, and we're gonna get watts. So and also you can do the same thing for the end index. What's your name? So 5 colon just leave that blank. So it's just gonna give you from 5 to the end. So we can also use negative indices to start indexing from the end of the string. So we're going to go from here to from the right to the left when we're looking at these indexes. So from -7 to -2, that's going to give your not. So this is -7 to negative. We're obviously excluding the last index. Um, and it's also this is pretty dang stuff. We can also indicate step size. So yeah, my list 172, the last number here. So 1 to 7 is the bounds of your of the array that you're considering, and then also the 2 is the number of steps you want to take. No, it's a step size, so you're going to each time you're getting an element from the say from the list. So and then this is also a pretty cool feature. You can do double colon -1 to reverse the index, to reverse the list. This is unique to Python. Not, I don't think any other language has such advanced functionality, or maybe simple functionality, depending on how you look at it. Uh, to reverse indexes without using for loops and stuff. To reverse lists without using for loops. So you can keep that in mind. And then there's also a lot of string methods, but here are some common ones. Obviously, the upper is intuitive. It converts all lowercase characters to uppercase. Lower makes the entire string lowercase. Title converts string to title case. Oh, where is it? And then we capitalize. So it's gonna capitalize. So if you have like Rithwik without the capital R, it's gonna capitalize that. Um, So find it returns the lowest index of the substring if it is found. So if you have a string called returns and you say find u, it is going to be like 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's going to say the index is 3. So that's the lowest index of the substring. And obviously you can use phrases and not just letters for that one. And then index, it returns the position of the first occurrence of a substring and a string. So the opposite of find. Yeah. Okay. String formatting. So these are called F strings. So these also exist in JavaScript where you can do the back
Backquote.
back. I don't know what it's
Yeah.
called. So F strings allow you to format parts of a string. To use, just put an F in front of the string literal. So you just put an F. There's no need for um put any other thing you have to put in, and then you can also use a placeholder. Uh, what is this? Brackets. You can also use placeholder brackets, which can contain variables, operations, functions, literally anything to format the value. So value is value. So this is actually very fun to use once you get into the groove of it, because you don't have to like do plus value plus space and all that. You can just type it all right in and do your functions and methods and everything inside the string. And you'll realize the value of this when you actually get to this because it's very efficient and sleek. And then yeah, you can use modifiers. So basically, let's say you have pi 3.1415 and 26 and so on, and you don't really want all that because it's verbose. You can just say pi rounded to two decimal places is pi, and you can use a colon because pi is the variable you're working with. And then you can do 0.2f, so that's going to round to two decimal places. So pi rounded to two decimal places is 3.14. Uh, you have a lot of escape characters here. So basically for all of them, just put the backslash before them, and then you can put the necessary things. This is like to circumvent that. This is to circumvent the backslash being already being a, a to circumvent it not being allowed. So it's just pretty dank in that regard. And then there's also single quote. So you can actually use a single quote in your string without ending it. And then new line, errors return, tab, backspace, form feed. Don't worry about the last two. Even I don't use them. So I don't know what they're examples. Print hello slash hello. So the main thing you're gonna take away from the slide is slash n and slash t. You're gonna use both of these very frequently, particularly slash n, because you can just skip lines. I mean, go to the next line with it, and then for t, you add in three spaces effectively to your string, and then this is basically to add in quotation marks without like doing any without ending the string or doing some weird things there. And then this is to add in a backslash without uh, indicating to it that it's going to create some sort of operation. And you'll realize this if you start coding and you want to use a backslash, and you realize this is going to come in handy. So there are many built-in math functions. So we'll examine the four of these first. So minimum returns lowest value in an iterable. We haven't really got into what an iterable is. So lists, sets, dictionaries, tuples, etc. We didn't get in there. So and then also a max returns the highest value in the list. So keep those in mind. And then absolute value returns the absolute value of a specific number. So abs negative 5 is going to return 5. And then power xy, so 2 to the third is going to return 8. So if 2, 3, 2 to the third, 8. And then math module. So we have a math module as well, similar to many other languages. So what if we want more math functions? We just have that. And then you can just import math and I'll show you how to do that. You just actually just write exactly this and it's gonna be imported. Um oh and we have a lot of functions. There are factorial, log, square root, sine, GCD, ceiling, for I'll go over some of these and then you can also experiment with them whenever you want. So yeah, that's it. I'll do the demonstration actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can start by demonstrating the string stuff,
Yeah, we can
like
just
the colon. Yeah.
Okay, so my string hello and print. And then we're gonna say, actually, let's get the 0. Let's get 3. And then type in the chat what you think this might print. So I can see what you guys learned actually. Or you can raise your hand. So what would
Yeah.
my string 3 print? Oh, poked by a stick is typing. Let's see what poked by a stick has to say. L. Oh, okay. Very good, very good. Yeah, it does indeed print L. It's gonna print, so 0, 1, 2, 3. It's gonna print the second L. So yeah, we don't have to run it since you already know. And then now let's go from, I don't know, 0 to 3. Type in the chat what you think this might print. So 0, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, what was that? HELL. Mortal Sun said HEL.
Okay,
And then Poke
interesting
by Stick
answers.
said HEL. So
I
it'll
didn't
it'll
understand this
actually
part.
do
Okay, that's fine.
HEL.
Oh, Chadster is typing. Let's see what Chadster has to say. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we might have to go over this again.
Yeah.
So fundamentally, so let's type this out. H is so let's say 0 is H,
Yeah.
1 is E, 2 is L, 3 is also L, and then oh, 4 is O. So H, let's put this here. So H is 0, E is 1, L is 2, L is 3, and then O is 4. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the indexes that we have here. And what we're asking is, let's go from 0 to 3 and let's get that substring. So we're gonna go from 0, 1, 2, 3. But
Up to and not including.
the functionality of this expression is such that we exclude the last index. So we're not going to include 3. So we're just going to go 0, 1, 2. And then because it said 3, we're going to do 3 minus 1, and then we're just going to stop there. So 0, 1, 0, 1, 2. And we'll exclude this number and only do the one before it. So 0, 1, 2.
Yeah. So
So it's going
always
to,
remember that the last index that you specify, it's non-inclusive. So it'll actually do -1
yeah.
of what you specify. So this will print out HEL.
Did you guys understand it, or do you want another explanation?
Yeah, just remember that it includes the start
Answer seems
index,
to get it.
the
Okay.
zero or the first
Yeah,
number,
so,
but
so
it doesn't. But it goes up to and does not include the end index or the
yeah,
other number.
fundamentally, just remember it doesn't include the end index.
Hmm.
This is what you have to remember. And then also the indexes start at 0. Those are the two things you'll need to know and take away. Okay, what is something else? Oh, let's do just 0. Oh, what should we do next?
Do more slicing, like demonstrations of slicing.
Okay. So this is because we didn't put anything at the end. We're not indicating like, oh, let's stop at 3, oh, let's stop at 4. We're just gonna keep on going until the string ends. So we're gonna get hello. So we're gonna start at 0 and go on. So for example, if we said 1 and we run it, I can just press Shift Enter. We're gonna omit H because 1 is gonna have the splice start from E, and then we're gonna go on to the end. So that's how it works. Um, let's also go from let's do this. So what do you guys think might happen here? See if we get this. Let's give us some satisfaction and run it. It is indeed hell with, oh well, it's actually HEL. Well, the pronunciation is the same for both hail, well, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, and we can do
Um, do what?
negative slicing, the negative indices.
Yeah.
Oh, like that.
Go from like -6.
Oh,
Yeah.
-3. I'll just run this. It's pretty dank. Oh,
Oh
wait, I
yeah,
did
I
it
yeah,
really
yeah.
wrong.
You have to switch them around. You have to the first index
Oh,
has to be
Yeah.
-3.
It's the lower one first.
Yeah. Always remember, like, even when you're working with negative indices, just like the lower one goes first.
It's always the lower number first, and remember negatives. Um, the higher the negative number, the lower it is. So like negative 14 is lower than negative 11.
Yeah, yeah. And then we can also show step size if you want to.
Yeah. Actually, we can show
Go ahead.
step size with negative
Yeah, yeah,
indices.
yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Mhm.
So like we can do -3 colon -1 and then 3, yeah.
Yeah, one.
Let's just do 2.
Or 2, yeah. Let's do 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's increase. I don't know how the size is. Whatever, that's a fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get TV. So we went from negative from the back. We're going to -5 to -2. So let's see. And we're also skipping 2, by the way. So we're gonna go all the way uh -5. So 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then from here we're gonna go to -2. So we're gonna go T and then V and then we're gonna stop because we already reached the end. Because we're skipping.
We're skipping a character because uh, that's what the step size is for. That's just how much we're moving. So I guess we can have like a larger range to like better demonstrate that. Like instead of -5, have that like -10 or whatever. Yeah, -8. C,
Oh,
yeah, WAE.
yeah, so W and
It
then we're
skips
going to
H,
A
then it skips the T. Yeah.
and then we just stop because we reach -2.
Yep.
This isn't that important of a concept. In that you should beat yourself up over it if you don't get it. It's
Yeah,
just pretty
it can
cool.
be a bit like daunting at first, but it's relatively like
Yeah.
simple concept.
Yeah,
So
if you just like experiment and print stuff yourself, you'll get it.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
We can show like uh
We can show the
not
colon
the for,
colon.
we can show the string methods. Yeah, we can do the
Yeah.
methods, then do the f strings.
So
so
yeah.
yeah, if we capitalize it, we're gonna get it capital H, that's the word. So that's pretty cool.
Rithwik, pull up your console. Like
Uh, I,
higher.
I can see it. I can see it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, what other methods?
Do
Oh, wait, what's the size method? Or is it len? It's len. Wait,
That's just len, which is
Yeah.
just like
we
a
didn't we
general
didn't
command.
discuss
Yes,
we
yeah.
didn't discuss it.
Len can be used for like for
Yeah, it can be used pretty
strings.
much for everything.
Yeah, it can be used for strings.
Okay.
Can be used for like you'll learn about them later, like lists, tuples, etc. Basically, just how many items
So
to
the
remember.
length is gonna give you how many characters are
Characters.
in this
Yeah.
string. So it's just 13. And you use it as though it was a function. It's a native function, so yeah. Oh,
Do
and then
the f
we
string.
can do math stuff.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, so my num is 14. I'll also show you how to import the math class, which is pretty much import math, and then we call it a day. Uh, so let's just for first let's do the native methods. Actually, let's make this -14, and then do print abs. So I think we'll know that the absolute value of -14 is 14. So let's go to let's do a math method, not capital math. Uh, let's remove the negative. And then we can do math dot square root. Let's do a better number like 25. And then my print. So yeah, it's gonna return 5.0. It returns a float. Oh, especially because if you have like this, then it's gonna be some random number, which is just going on and on, irrational number. And then we can do other methods, like I don't know, that dot. We can do a logarithm of minimum, which is apparently 2.6390 something. So that's good. Wait, you can do exponents. You might need to do uh wait, is that a yeah, I don't think this is how you do it. What's the function? Oh, is it math.pol? Yeah, okay, so I think in another language it's like X or something. It's 2, 3. No, we get 8. 2 cubed is 8. Does anyone have any questions about that?
You can just type it into the chat whenever you want to if you have a question.
See if we. Oh yeah, I want to go over the factorial method because I think that's in the homework. So you
Yeah.
pretty much just do math dot factorial.
If you
Let's do
remember what a
5 because
factorial is, it's like
so this
it's
is
like
just
yeah, it's like for example 3 factorial, which is indicated by like a 3 exclamation point. It's just 3 times 2 times 1 essentially. Yeah.
so that's the factorial of that, and then we get 120. That's a common factorial of 5, and that's 5 exclamation mark actually. If you want to be mathematically precise. Uh, oh yeah, so Ashwin sent out the homework. You can just DM it to me and I'll look over it. We also have a key. I'll send that to you as well if you want it. If you want
Yeah,
more
it's like
problems, just ask.
yeah, if you guys have
Yeah,
any questions, feel free to like
I thought I thought five parts to the problem was enough, but I don't know how much homework you guys want or something.
yeah, if you
When
guys
are
have
the
it
assignments due? You can submit them whenever you want. I would recommend doing them before the next lesson, which is tomorrow. But if you don't want to or have time to, that's fine. It's not a set due date because you're not like paying for the class or something, so it doesn't matter. No grade.
yeah,
And I
if you
won't
have
give
any
you a grade. I won't say like, oh, you got 90 out of 100. I'll give you like actionable feedback, such as, oh, you might want to use the math class in this instance instead of trying to use a native method which doesn't exist or something.
yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to like ask them now. But like once
Yeah.
this ends, probably like in a couple minutes, just like yeah, just DM one of us or just ask in the server.
You can
Someone
also
will get
put it
back
in
to you.
Q&A in general,
Hmm.
whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
And does anyone want any other VS Code demonstrations of a topic that
Any
they
yeah
don't understand?
anything you're confused by.
And
So
if
we
you
went
have a
over
question
yeah.
after the meeting, you can just text me or Rithwik or Alex. We can provide you an answer.
Mhm. Yeah, just don't be afraid to
I was
ask.
just typing.
Yeah, we know this was a lot of information, so don't feel overwhelmed.
Yeah, this is the first day where we discuss a lot of fundamentals of the language, which are going to help you in like all the other lessons. The rest of the lessons are going to focus on like specific concepts like if loops and stuff. Like looping. Oh, we want to go over F strings. And he's still typing. Let's see what's going on. We can go over F strings. Okay.
Guys, do
Let's
strings.
go back. So basically, F strings are like, let's say we have S equals
Yeah,
hello.
basically like allows you to easily insert like
Oh wait,
a
let's say
variable
S
into
equals.
like it
Okay.
allows you to easily insert a value into uh, a string essentially. So like this is
So
really
yeah, then
helpful
we
if
can.
like you like want to change a sentence based on like user input or
Oh,
something else
okay.
that like changes dynamically. And this like makes it much easier so that you don't have to like concatenate like three like items together essentially. And like yeah.
Oh yeah, so here I have it demonstrated. So basically a code catalyst, and then I didn't type out academy expressly. I dedicated the academy to a string called s, and I put that in here using curly braces. It's pretty much this exact syntax. You don't have to change anything, just use this. You can just say I equals 3 as well.
Yeah, we could have
And
the
say
modifier too.
I. So it says code catalyst 3. So it's basically useful for that. If you get into functions and other things like that, it's particularly useful there because you can just execute the function in this and do it in a do your string concatenation in a very sleek and stylish manner.
Yeah, we can
And
show we can
you
show the modifiers with like a flow.
uh, we, oh, okay. So we were gonna use I part one final. Let's just leave it there, and then we can get print f
We
mining.
can say pi rounded to 2 decimals. Yeah. And then you don't have to do that by yourself. You can just put, first of all, you can put the curly brackets pi to let Python know that you want to insert it. And then you can put the colon and then dot, well, 2f or,
Yeah,
Oh, wait,
I
yeah,
was
it
gonna
doesn't
show. I was
matter.
showing three decimals just to show how the thing can be changed.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah, and then yeah, then I'll round to 3 decimal points. So yeah, those are f strings. You can also do like a bunch of different things with f
Yeah,
strings. You can like
Yeah, this is
you
just
can
the most important one.
yeah you can like multiply like values, perform other
Yep.
like methods on them. Yeah, but this is like very bare bones. So yeah. Any other questions?
Does that make sense? Do f strings make sense?
Okay. Uh,
Eh, All right.
yeah.
Cool.
If there are no other questions, probably cut it off right now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
1 hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was,
Okay. Have a good day, everyone.
yeah. That was a good
yeah.
session. But
We'll
Make
meet
sure
again
to be
tomorrow
here
at the same
tomorrow.
time.
We'll be covering a lot more stuff tomorrow.
Well, let's wait for off top shelf to type. Yeah, then the other. Oh, okay, he says thank you. Okay, or she. I don't know.